Yule. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson just allegedly dropped the first look at what might be the most devastating documentary to hit hip-hop since surviving R. Kelly. And the target? Clifford T.I. Harris and his wife Tamika Tiny Harris. I need to talk about this right now because the internet is losing its mind and I literally cannot believe what I just sat through. Because what started as a simple Verzuz argument, two rap legends going back and forth about who got more hits, somehow, allegedly, spiraled into leaked footage, sexual assault allegations resurfacing, a dead mother being mocked on a t-shirt, a son allegedly trademarking a deceased woman's name for weed brand, and now a full-blown documentary threat that has the entire Harris family scrambling. But here's what doesn't add up. If T.I.'s legal battles were really over, if the cases were really dismissed, if there was truly nothing to worry about, then why does this documentary threat feel like it's about to shake the table harder than any court filing ever did? Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. See, on the surface, this looks like two aging rappers throwing shots on Instagram. New York versus Atlanta, round 467. But when you peel back the layers of what's allegedly being assembled behind the scenes, this is not a rap beef. This is a calculated media operation. And 50 Cent, the man who executive produced the Diddy documentary on Netflix, the man behind the entire Power universe, allegedly has the infrastructure, the distribution, and the audience to 10 years of unresolved allegations into the most-watched docuseries of the year. And T.I.'s family? They may have just handed him the footage to make it hit even harder. Let's get into all of this because trust me, by the end you're going to see this completely differently. And wait till you hear what King Harris allegedly did with 50 Cent's mother's name, because that is where this whole thing goes off the rails. So let me lay the foundation for the people who are just tuning in. The key players in this entire situation are Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, rapper, mogul, television producer, and professional grudge holder who has never lost a long-term beef in the history of hip-hop. Seriously, name one. I'll wait. Then you've got Clifford T.I. Harris Jr., the self-proclaimed king of the South, Grammy winner, actor from the Ant-Man franchise, and a man who has survived federal gun charges, prison time, and roughly 2 decades of controversy with his public image mostly intact. You've got Tamika Tiny Harris, escape singer, reality TV star, wife of T.I., and the woman at the center of allegations that 50 reportedly wants to bring back to the screen. And then you've got the Harris kids, specifically King Harris, T.I.'s outspoken 21-year-old son, and Damani Harris, the 24-year-old who reportedly dropped a diss track called Ms. Jackson. Even little Eros Harris, the 9-year-old daughter of T.I. and Tiny, allegedly posted a video of herself singing after Tiny was targeted online. The whole household got pulled into this. The way I screamed when I saw an entire family tree on a diss track assembly line. This is giving Real Housewives of Atlanta meets Mob Wives meets a whole congressional hearing. I truly have never seen anything like it in hip-hop. But here's the thing that nobody is talking about. The timeline. Because when you line up the events in order, the pattern that allegedly emerges is not chaotic. It's methodical, and it points in one direction. Now, that's the surface story. Let me tell you what's underneath. The friction between 50 Cent and T.I. didn't start in 2026. It goes back almost 20 years. This was originally a regional pride thing, New York versus Atlanta, two titans defending their cities. But by 2008, things reportedly got personal. 50 Cent started publicly accusing T.I. of cooperating with federal authorities after T.I.'s October 2007 arrest for allegedly attempting to purchase machine guns and silencers from an undercover federal agent. The case was massive. T.I. was reportedly facing up to 10 years in prison. He ultimately served about 1 year. And that discrepancy, the gap between the potential sentence and the actual time served, became the foundation for every snitch accusation that followed. 50 referenced it in lyrics. Critics repeated it. The narrative attached itself to T.I.'s name like a shadow he couldn't shake. For most of the 2010s, things cooled off. The beef went dormant. Then around 2020 to 2021, T.I. started publicly pushing for a Verzuz battle. He wanted 50. He said so on multiple occasions. And 50 Cent, he allegedly shut it down every single time. According to reports, he didn't even dignify the request with a serious response. Fast forward to February 2026, Super Bowl weekend. T.I. appeared on Shannon Sharpe's Nightcap podcast and reportedly claimed that 50 had once privately agreed to the Verzuz before backing out. According to T.I., and I'm quoting here, 50 ducked the smoke. Now, if you know anything about Sabrina Jackson, you know that accusing him of ducking anything is the equivalent of pressing a nuclear launch button and then going to take a nap. You do not do that. And that's not even the part that got me. Because 50 didn't respond with a diss track first. No, he went straight for the jugular of the family. On February 22nd, 2026, he reportedly posted an unflattering photo of Tiny Harris on Instagram, allegedly edited or specifically chosen to mock her appearance. The caption made fun of her looks. And the backlash? Instantaneous. T.I.'s camp was livid. But what happened next is where the entire conflict transformed from a rap beef into something that allegedly cannot be undone. King Harris, T.I.'s son, jumped on Instagram Live almost immediately. And during that broadcast, he allegedly referenced one of the most painful chapters in 50 Cent's life. 50 Cent's mother, Sabrina Jackson, was killed in 1983 when 50 was just 8 years old. It's a tragedy that shaped his entire childhood, and its well-documented history. King reportedly referenced that loss directly, framing it as retaliation. If you come for my mother, I'm coming for yours. The internet heard it. Clips circulated everywhere, and the reaction was split right down the middle. Some people defended King. They said he was protecting his mother. Others, they said that bringing up someone's dead parent, especially a woman who was murdered when her child was barely in elementary school, crossed a line that should never be touched in hip-hop, no matter what. Rapper Boosie Badazz reportedly weighed in publicly and said the comments were wrong. Period. According to Boosie, it didn't matter who started it. Some things should never be used as ammunition. So my question is, where was the adult supervision? Who in T.I.'s circle heard what King was about to do and said, yeah, that's a smart move? Because the answer, allegedly, is nobody stopped him. And that's the first domino that set everything else in motion. Are you all seeing what I'm seeing? Because it didn't stop there. On February 27, 2026, T.I.'s other son Damani Harris reportedly dropped a diss track titled Ms. Jackson. The title alone had people talking. And while Damani's approach was allegedly more traditional, more lyrical, more measured, the timing added gasoline to an already raging fire. Then T.I. himself posted a video dancing with his own mother on her birthday. The caption read, "Happy birthday, Mama," while one of his diss tracks played in the background. To many viewers, the image of T.I. celebrating his living mother felt like a quiet but unmistakable jab at a man whose mother had been taken from him as a child. And right when you think you've heard the worst of it, King Harris allegedly appeared in a diss video wearing a custom t-shirt printed with a photo of Sabrina Jackson, 50 Cent's late mother. The image, on a t-shirt, in a music video meant to taunt the man whose mother that was. Even some T.I. supporters felt the moment had gone too far. T.I. himself later reportedly said on a podcast that he told King to stop after the t-shirt incident. He acknowledged there were limits, but the damage was already done. And here's the part that truly baffles me. As of just days ago, late March 2026, King Harris has allegedly now claimed that he copyrighted or trademarked the name Miss Jackson Candy Shop for a cannabis brand. You heard that right. Reports indicate he's allegedly using the name of 50 Cent's deceased mother for a weed line. He reportedly went on social media to explain why, saying things are even now. Now, I'm not saying this is what happened, but if those reports are accurate, we have moved so far past a rap beef that I don't even know what category this falls under anymore. This is allegedly provocation on a level that most people in hip-hop have never seen. And the question I keep coming back to is, does the Harris family understand what they are allegedly poking? Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. While all of this was playing out on Instagram, while the t-shirts were being printed and the diss tracks were dropping, 50 Cent went quiet. And that silence, that was the most terrifying move of all. Because when 50 Cent goes silent in the middle of a public conflict, history tells us he's not retreating. He's building. He's assembling. He's preparing something that doesn't fit inside a 3-minute song. And then it arrived. In early March 2026, 50 Cent reportedly posted, and then deleted, an Instagram screenshot teasing a documentary titled Surviving T.I. and Tiny. The caption allegedly referenced over 20 sexual assault cases connected to the couple. The post disappeared quickly, but the internet had already seen it. Screenshots spread everywhere within minutes. And for anyone familiar with 50's pattern, that post was not trolling. It was allegedly a trailer for what's coming. On March 5th, 2026, he reportedly pushed it further. He posted old footage of T.I. appearing in court and paired it with references to a Crime Stoppers public service announcement T.I. had once participated in. The caption read something like, "No, I don't like it. No Verzuz. Let's do the stay away challenge and stay away from me. LOL." On the surface, it reads like a joke, but many observers saw something else entirely, a deliberate framing exercise. He was allegedly keeping two narratives alive simultaneously, the snitch accusations and the sexual assault allegations, both attached to T.I.'s name, both refreshed in the public conversation at the same time. Then on March 6, 2026, 50 Cent dropped the theme song for his new series Power, Origins, titled "No One Told Us What We're Here For" featuring Leon Thomas, according to Billboard and Complex. The lyrics contained what many listeners interpreted as direct shots at T.I. and his family. One reported line allegedly went, "I'm back on my dope boy grammar. Your daddy made your mama eat every box." The internet decoded every bar. The consensus: 50 was using his own television empire as a delivery system for diss tracks. This man allegedly weaponized a Star's theme song. That's a level of petty that deserves its own documentary. The day after that, on March 7th, he reportedly released No More Tricks, No More Lies featuring Max B, produced by Dame Grease. According to reports, the track hit 10 million streams within days. The key lyric? No more tricks, no more tries, no more believing the lies. And his caption, "I am the algorithm." That line right there tells you everything you need to know about how 50 views this situation. He's not just responding, he's allegedly trying to become the entire conversation. But wait, because it gets worse. Here's where I need to lay out what I'm calling the producer theory. Because 50 Cent is not acting like a rapper in this feud. He's acting like a documentary producer who happens to also be a rapper, and the distinction matters enormously. Through G-Unit film and television, 50 has built a track record that is genuinely frightening if you're on the wrong side of it. He executive produced Sean Combs' The Reckoning for Netflix, the 4-part documentary about Diddy's alleged crimes. He's behind 50 Ways to Catch a Killer, an investigation docuseries. The entire Power universe exists because of his production infrastructure. This is a man with established relationships with major streaming platforms, experienced documentary crews, and an audience of millions already conditioned to watch. And here's a pattern I want y'all to see, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Step 1. Social media provocation. Loud posts designed to grab attention and start the conversation. Check. The Crime Stoppers post, the tiny photo, the deleted documentary screenshot. Step 2. Public framing. The narrative begins taking shape across interviews, blogs, and online debates. Check. Tasha K reportedly claimed on February 28, 2026 that sources close to 50 said he was already preparing the project. She allegedly warned the Harris family to apologize and fall all the way back. Step 3. Music releases that serve as emotional soundtracks to the emerging story. Check. The Power, Origins theme song, and the Max B track. Step 4. The documentary itself drops, and by the time it arrives, the audience has already been primed to watch. That's the stage we're allegedly heading toward. So let me ask you this. If 50 Cent is following the exact same playbook he allegedly used with the Diddy documentary, and the timeline matches, and the provocation pattern matches, and the production capability is there, why would anyone believe this is just trolling? Where did the documentary footage allegedly come from? Who are the alleged accusers willing to go on camera? What new information, if any, does 50 reportedly have access to? How did the Harris family's social media responses potentially strengthen his case? And more importantly, why isn't anyone in T.I.'s camp telling the family to stop giving 50 free content? Tell me how that makes sense. I'll wait. Now, here's what the official story says happened versus what allegedly doesn't add up. The allegations connected to T.I. and Tiny reportedly first exploded into public view in January 2021 when Sabrina Peterson, an entrepreneur and former friend of the couple, publicly accused T.I. of allegedly threatening her with a gun during an incident she said occurred in 2009. After that post went public, Peterson reportedly said more than 30 individuals reached out to her with similar stories involving the couple. Allegations ranging from drugging and coercion to sexual assault, reportedly spanning from 2005 through 2018. By March 2021, attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn said he was representing 11 accusers. According to public reports at the time, 8 women allegedly described direct sexual assault by T.I., Tiny, or people connected to them. The accusations reportedly followed a pattern that many observers said was difficult to dismiss. Several women allegedly claimed they were invited to private settings, given drinks they believed were laced with substances including MDMA, and then subjected to acts they said were non-consensual. Attorney Lisa Bloom also publicly stated she represented 2 additional women with similar accounts. The New York Times later reported speaking with 5 women who described a similar alleged pattern. In May 2021, the LAPD reportedly confirmed opening a formal investigation. But by September 2021, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office declined to file charges, reportedly citing expired statutes of limitations on many of the claims. VH1's T.I. and Tiny Friends and Family Hustle was canceled around the same period, even though no criminal charges followed. Then in January 2024, a woman identified as Jane Doe, reportedly described as an Air Force veteran, filed a civil lawsuit under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act. In her complaint, she allegedly described a 2005 incident at a Los Angeles nightclub where she claimed she was handed a spiked drink by Tiny, taken to a hotel room, and sexually assaulted while unable to consent. T.I. and Tiny fought the lawsuit. In August 2024, a judge dismissed the case with prejudice after the plaintiff reportedly did not respond to the couple's filings. T.I.'s separate defamation lawsuit against Sabrina Peterson, filed in September 2024, reportedly remained active with a June 2026 trial date. Now, I'm not accusing anyone. I'm just asking questions that need answers. Because legally, the wall held. No criminal charges, dismissed civil suit, active defamation case against the original accuser. From a courtroom perspective, that matters tremendously. T.I. and Tiny have repeatedly and emphatically denied all allegations, calling them false, extortionate, and completely made up. In their January 2024 statement, they reportedly said, "We are innocent of these fake claims." But here's what I think is really going on. A documentary doesn't play by courtroom rules. It doesn't need a conviction. It doesn't need admissible evidence. It needs a compelling narrative, emotional testimony, and a platform. And 50 Cent allegedly has all 3. The model people keep pointing to is Surviving R. Kelly, which premiered in 2019 and was reportedly watched by over 26 million viewers. R. Kelly was later convicted in 2021 and sentenced to 30 years. That documentary didn't create the evidence. It organized the public understanding of it in a way that made prosecution politically and socially unavoidable. The proposed title, Surviving T.I. and Tiny, clearly mirrors that format. It signals exactly what Category 50 would allegedly be placing them in. And in the court of public opinion, category matters more than verdict. Now, this is just my take, but the math doesn't math on T.I.'s response strategy either. He responded on March 5th, 2026 from the set of his Let Them Know music video. His caption reportedly read, "We can go bar for bar, hit for hit, or doc for doc. Either way, all you gon' do is show how much of a fan you is." He then dropped a diss record titled Trauma Bond. His follow-up caption reportedly said, "Drop whatever you choose. Just please keep showing the world who you are. Pandora's box is ajar, sir." The defiance is real, but one phrase caught everybody's attention: doc for doc. That implies T.I. might allegedly have his own documentary project in the works. Something that could examine 50's past conflicts, family estrangements, legal battles. Whether it actually exists is unclear, but the phrase alone creates the appearance of a standoff. And here's my problem with that strategy. 50 Cent has G-Unit Film and Television. He has distribution deals with Netflix and Starz. He has a proven track record of turning controversy into must-watch content. T.I. has an idea of a documentary, maybe. The infrastructure gap between these two in the media production space is enormous. Saying doc for doc when your opponent already has the cameras, the editors, the distributors, and the streaming platforms is like challenging someone to a drag race when you haven't built the car yet. Which brings me to the part nobody is talking about: the ripple effects. If a documentary of this nature were to actually reach a major platform, the consequences would reportedly extend far beyond online debates. T.I.'s touring plans connected to his upcoming album, Kill the King, reportedly his 12th and final studio album, could face protests or cancellations. His trap music museum in Atlanta, his real estate ventures, his acting career, including appearances in the Ant-Man films. All of it would suddenly carry a completely different narrative attached. Instead of headlines about business moves or musical legacy, every conversation could shift toward the allegations themselves. Tiny's music career, including any Xscape reunion activity, could be overshadowed entirely. 2 decades of brand building could allegedly be reframed overnight. And I need y'all to really sit with that for a second, because the distance between legally cleared and publicly destroyed has never been smaller than it is in 2026. A documentary doesn't need to prove guilt. It just needs to make people ask questions they stopped asking. And once those questions are back in circulation on a platform with millions of viewers, the conversation changes in ways you can't control. Now, there is another possibility. If the documentary turns out to be weak, no new accusers, no new evidence, no fresh revelations, the strategy could backfire. T.I. has maintained a defiant public posture for years, and his fanbase has stood beside him through federal charges, prison time, and wave after wave of controversy. That loyalty has been tested before, and many supporters never left. If 50's production ends up looking more like a personal grudge than serious investigative storytelling, it could actually strengthen T.I.'s support instead of weakening it. Some fans are already pushing that narrative, arguing 50's moves come from rivalry rather than accountability. But let me flip that around for a second. If your T.I. is it might be weak really the plan you want to depend on? Because 50 Cent's track record with documentary productions suggests he doesn't release things that don't hit. The Diddy documentary reportedly drew massive viewership. He doesn't move sloppy. He doesn't release drafts. He releases finished products designed to dominate the news cycle. And if you don't find that pattern concerning, that's more concerning to me than anything. At the end of the day, there are real people inside this story. Tiny Harris is still a human being who allegedly didn't ask for her appearance to be mocked on Instagram. The Harris children, including a 9-year-old who reportedly posted a singing video in defense of her mother, are real kids caught in a situation that adults allegedly couldn't control. King Harris is 21 years old, and while his actions have been widely criticized, he's still a young man whose impulse to defend his mother is, at its core, understandable even if the execution was wrong. And 50 Cent lost his mother to violence when he was a child. The pain of that loss is real. The weaponization of it, from either side, is deeply troubling. As a person watching this unfold, this hits different, because underneath all the trolling and the memes and the quote tweets, there are families, there are children, there are women whose names are attached to sexual assault allegations that have never been fully resolved, regardless of what the legal system concluded. And there are allegedly real accusers, over 30, according to early reports, whose stories could be revisited, repackaged, and replayed for millions of viewers. This reminds me of something we saw with the surviving R. Kelly situation. Before that documentary aired, many people in the industry knew about the allegations. They'd been reported. They'd been discussed. But it wasn't until the stories were organized into a visual narrative, with faces, voices, and emotional testimony, that the cultural conversation shifted permanently. That's the power of documentary filmmaking. And it's exactly the power that 50 Cent allegedly understands and is preparing to deploy. Thank God this situation hasn't resulted in physical violence. The back and forth has stayed in the digital and musical space. But as Uncle Murder reportedly said when asked about the feud, he started laughing, then caught himself and said something simple that captured how many observers feel. It ain't funny games. And he's right. Once the documentary threat entered the conversation, this stopped being entertainment and started looking like something much more serious. Now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. As of right now, late March 2026, no official documentary has been formally announced through a major network or streaming platform. No distribution deal has been publicly confirmed. No premiere date exists. What exists is a threat, a deleted Instagram post, a pattern of calculated provocation, a track record of turning threats into productions, and a carefully maintained silence from 50 Cent's camp on the specifics. And that silence might be the most strategic move of all, because it keeps the conversation alive without revealing the next play. So let me recap the questions that are still hanging in the air. Is the surviving T.I. and Tiny documentary actually in production? Or is it the most effective bluff in hip-hop history? Did the Harris family's escalation, particularly the T-shirt incident and the alleged trademark of Sabrina Jackson's name, Give 50 Cent exactly the emotional ammunition he needed to justify a production? What happens to the more than 20 alleged accusers if their stories are placed on a major platform with 50 Cent's production quality behind them? And is T.I.'s doc for doc threat real? Or is it an empty counterpunch against someone who allegedly has a production empire while T.I. has confidence? This story is still developing, and trust me, I'm watching every single move. Because 50 Cent doesn't tease things he's not willing to finish. His entire career is built on follow-through. And if this documentary actually materializes, the impact will have very little to do with rap bars and everything to do with the story it tells. And once a story like that reaches millions of viewers, everything changes, for everyone involved. Let me know what you'll think in the comments, because I know you'll caught something I didn't. Drop your theory below. I read everything. Who do you think is actually winning this war? Not the battle, the war. Because there's a difference. T.I.'s camp might have won the diss track exchange, but 50 Cent reportedly plays a longer game. And if you haven't watched my breakdown of the Diddy documentary and how 50 Cent's production strategy works, go watch that, because this story makes so much more sense when you see that story. And when the next update drops, whether it's a trailer, a streaming announcement, or another provocative Instagram post at 2 a.m., I'll be right here. You already know. Stay safe out there. Stay informed. And always remember, now let me tell you what the headlines won't, because that's where the real story lives. I'll talk to y'all soon. Love y'all. Bye.